Good morning, my dear students. I am Dr. Deepak More, Assistant Professor, Department of English, Sanjeevani Mahavidyalaya Chapoli. Today, we are going to study about poetry section, poem number 2nd, Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art, written by John Keats. Then, brief introduction of John Keats. John Keats, he was born in 1795 and he was dead in 1821. He lost both his parents in childhood. Despite being qualified in medicine, he never practiced medicine and chose to compose poetry. He devoted himself completely to the poetry. His first volume of poems was published in 1817, but it attracted little attention. In 1818, he published his long and ambitious poem named Endymion, which was not much appreciated, but he was encouraged by various writers and his friends like William Hazlitt and others. The time between 1818 to 1819 was the most fertile period of his life. In the same period, he fell in love with Fanny Brownie, that is, it indicates a bright star for him, and composed his six odes, such as great narrative poems as Isabella or The Poet of Basile, The Eve of Saint Agnes, Hyperion, Lamia, and La Belle Dame Sans Mercy. Even then, also, his work was not appreciated by the critic of his time. In 1820, he suffered from tuberculosis and went to Italy in the hope for recovery, but he can't able to recover from this illness and he died in Rome on February 23, 1821. In the later part of the 19th century, John Keats received the acclaim that he deserved. Writers like Alfred Lord Tennyson and Swinburne praised him as one of the greatest, best poets of the time. In today's times, also, Keats remains one of the best loved of all English poets. Then, brief introduction of Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art. Is It is a poem written by John Keats and most celebrated English romantic poet who, in a brief time period around the beginning of the 19th century, among the most prominent of the romantics were three poets in a particular: John Keats, Lord Byron, and P.B. Shelley. These three were friends and associates who died at a very young age. But they also left a very powerful impact on English poetry. Romantic poetry is the product of emotion and expressions which presents the poet's love towards any inspiring object in literature. In romantic poet is often assumed to be a lonesome person misunderstood by others in his own time. It is commonly believed that the poet here is talking to Polaris or the North Star, which is famous for appearing to hold still in the sky because of its brightness and unmoving nature. The star is used as a guiding star by the travelers. In this sonnet, that is, bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, a traditional poetic form characterized by its length of 14 lines and its use of a set rhyme scheme. Thus, the poet wishes to attain the unchanging and fixed status of the bright star through his love. That is why this sonnet was written in 1819 and was revised in 1820. It is supposed to be Keats's last sonnet. Then, about the text of the poem. The opening line of the poem, the poet tells us that bright star, would I were steadfast as thou art, not in lone splendor, but aloft the night, and watching with eternal leads apart, like nature's patient, sleepless eremite. The moving waters at their priest like task of pure ablution round earth's human shores, or gazing on the new soft fallen mask of snow upon the mountains and the moors. No, yet still steadfast, still unchangeable, pillowed upon my fair love, ripening breast, to feel forever its soft fall and swell, awake forever in a sweet unrest. Still to hear her tender taken breath, and so live ever or else soon to death. The poem Bright Star, Would I Were Steadfast as Thou Art, is written by one of the most celebrated English romantic great poet, named John Keats. Among the most prominent of the romantics were three poets, in particular John Keats, Lord Byron, and P.B. Shelley. Then, in this poem, the poet believed that this poem was composed for his beloved. In the beginning of the sonnet, the speaker presents the image of the bright star that is referred to the title. The speaker wishes that he could be as steadfast as the bright star. The word steadfast means fixed or firm. The word suggests that he is talking to the North Star, also known as Polaris, which is the only star that remains motionless in the sky. The star is isolated from the rest of world, but the poet also does not want to hear other qualities of the star, such as the star is always awake and shining. He points out the star, the star's splendor and isolation in the night. In fact, the speaker does not want to lead a life of splendor in loneliness or in isolation. The poet wants to be like the bright star but did not want to live in loneliness. The poem speaks of sleepless hermit who lives away from humanity. The line and watching with eternal leads apart like nature's patient sleepless eremit. These lines emphasize the star's loneliness and motionless. The star keeps an eye on the nature's aspect. It spends its time watching with eternal leads. The poet used the words like patient and sleepless, which are both adjective modifying eremit, a religious hermit who has retired into a solitary life. In the next lines, the poet compares the bright star with a moving water and task of purification. The star observes that the water of the earth is engaged in a priest like task of ablution. The meaning of ablution here is of ritual cleansing. As like the priest who purify the human's activity which he has stretched all over the globe. In the next stanza, the poet describes how the beautiful snow that gathers on top of the mountains and moors. Here, the snow describes as being a mask that hides and ugliness of the mountain and moors. The word mask is not a real mask but instead a metaphorical mask. Literally speaking, the star is gazing on a layer of new and soft snow falling upon the mountains and the moors. Here, the poet has presented the image of a winter and lonely place. Winter has an association with solitude and sadness. Again, the speaker repeats that he wants the unchangeable quality of the bright star but not the loneliness of or solitude and sadness. Then in another line of the poem, the poet describes lying on his lover's breast and looking for relief. The no at the beginning is used as an exclamation, the speaker's final comment on everything that has come before. He would love to be as steadfast as the star, but he is not judged about sitting upon in the high heavens, taking in all those dreary sights. Instead, he would like to be just as steadfast in resting his head on his beloved's ripening breast. Here, the word ripening means maturing. His beloved is still young, so she becomes mature to understand his love for her. Then, in the next lines, the poet describes his desire in which his lover be alive for eternity. While resting his head on his girlfriend's breast, the speaker wants to feel her breathing forever, emphasizes the main aspect of the star existence. The speaker likes to have its permanence. Even though he is resting his fact on his beloved's breast like a pillow, he does not want to fall asleep there and miss out on all the action. Instead, he wants to remain awake forever to feel her breathing and her pleasure. In the end of the poem, the poet says that if he cannot hear his beloved's breath, he will welcome his own death with no regrets. The repetition of the word still suggests that the speaker wants to do the same thing forever and ever for the rest of all eternity. The word ever emphasizes the eternity of love, passion, and sensuality. The poet accepts the possibility of dying from pleasure. In short, these lines portray the poet's feeling towards life, where death brings no fear and life means nothing without his lover. Thus, the poet understands that one can experience eternity in this life through true love. Thank you very much.